Does everybody hear the voice of God? She gets mad sometimes, so you better pay attention. Hey, everybody, welcome to, wait a minute, it's not Wednesday, it's Fantastic Friday. Woo! I almost said welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. I've lost track of days. Just so everybody knows, we are actually in day 5 of Go Whiskey Week. Day 5. We've had an event every night this week. Like I said, we're in day 5, and this is sort of like the lead up. This is the big event before all the big events, and it goes into total chaos. Simon, you know what I'm talking about, right? You're going to be here this weekend, right?
I'm out tomorrow.
You're going to be here tomorrow?
No.
Oh, you're leaving?
Yeah,
oh, then the hell with you. What do I care? No, Simon's here tonight. We're going to start it off really, really well in this sort of the weekend of Go Whiskey Week, and we're going to do Redbreast tonight, and this is insane.
Yeah, what a lineup.
What a lineup, right?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I'm humbled to be here.
Well,
third time, I think.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah,
charm. Either now you're in the family, or you get rid of you. It's not pretty. I hope it goes well for you.
Fingers crossed.
So everybody that came tonight, the cost of coming to this tonight was basically a bottle of Jameson Black.
Yeah.
Right.
Woof. Black Barrel.
Right? Yeah, Black Barrel. Right. And people are like, well, why it's Redbreast? Why, Jameson? First of all, I wanted it to not cost a lot. Right. But I also wanted people to try something really good that they may not have tried. And so we talked about it, and we agreed, like, yeah, they should do the Black Barrel.
The Black Barrel is maybe one of the greatest whiskeys of all time. I mean, I would say it. It's obviously arguable. There might be some people who've never.
Well, I've heard you say that this would be your island, your deserted island. Desert island or deserted island?
Desert island bottle.
Yeah, desert island or something like that.
We'll put it in these terms. Bottle you got on the table there. When I go home, I mean, I'm in whiskey. I've been talking about whiskey for the last 5 years, pretty much every single day. And I end up coming home with a few bangers every now and then.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff is open, ready to go, and consistently, in the rare times I get home and I think, I could use a little whiskey. Black Barrel is more often than not the one I go for and I taste, just for just simple, pure enjoyment. This whiskey, it's an absolute. It's what's technically known in the game as a banger.
Do not open those here.
It's
wait till you get home on those.
And there's a lot of reasons why it's actually such a phenomenal whiskey, or why more it tastes the way it does. We actually shut down the Middleton distillery making any whiskeys one time a year to only concentrate on pumping out the distillate for Black Barrel. Black Barrel used to be called Jameson Select, if you remember Jameson Select back in the day, and then we rebranded, called it Black Barrel. It is much closer to a 12-year-old than anything else, but there's one simple reason we can't call it a 12, because there is a proportion of 6-year-old whiskey in there. Now, what the 6-year-old whiskey does that's so integral to that flavor, there's a very, very rich buttery characteristic in Jameson Black Barrel that makes it so specific and very unique and
distinctive.
It's so distinctive
flavor.
And its softness, it's like that buttery character. It's so beautiful. Works really nice with all those toffee caramel notes, and that comes from the 6-year-old distillate. So the whiskey that we mature in Ireland, after 6 years, it turns a corner. It's really interesting. There's so many corners that the whiskey takes when it's been in a barrel a certain amount of years, and we'll see that with the tropical notes that come out in these two. So the first kind of corner is you lose that buttery character. So without that, it wouldn't be the same. And that is what you have in this whiskey here all day. And it's, for under $50 a bottle is absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It's just sessionable, quaffable. Yeah. And yeah, closer to a 12 than anything else. And I hope you will enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
They don't have a choice to take in.
You got it anyway.
You know what they say? If it's in the house, it's drunk. My father and I used to have an argument. If you did a sale and everybody bought everything, would you ruin your sales for like the next week? And his theory, and I think it holds true. If it's in the house, they'll drink it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And
It'll
it's
get
like one of
bounced.
those things is like, oh, we have it in the house. Just open something. Great. We have it in the house. It's there. And it just sort of goes that way and goes that way. And then all of a sudden you don't have anything in the house anymore. You got to come back to Julia's, right?
Yeah, it got
There you
re
go.
up.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get right into it because we do have a lot of whiskey to taste and
Yeah.
very little time to do it. But we're doing a pretty comprehensive Redbreast lineup tonight, starting with sort of the flagship brand, the Redbreast 12. Now this is we try the 12 cast strength, but this is just the I don't want it sounds so bad to say like the run of the mill, but this is like when people say Redbreast, this is the workhorse. This is the flagship
Yeah, the OG.
of the brand.
Yeah.
Right?
The one that started it all. The Christmas cake of Irish whiskey.
All right. So everybody take that. If you have your that would be number 1 on your tray if you've had it set up.
Oh, Slancher, everyone.
Slancher.
And yeah, thank you so much for coming today. That means a lot. Cheers.
We actually fit more people in. We were actually sold out 3 times on this, and said, "Can we?" I'm like, John, can you think we could get a couple more in there? Because I know everybody wants to go. Yeah. We're sold out again. Okay, all right. So Frank, I'm sorry you're way in the back, but no, I'm not. I'm not sorry at all. That was a lie.
Poor Frank.
But he's drinking whiskey. Don't
He's
worry.
all right,
It's
he's
it's
all right.
fine. He's fine. Don't worry about it. He can't even hear me. He's like he's not even paying attention to me.
It's fun. Yeah.
So what do you guys? This is it's solid as solid gets.
Solid.
Got some great depth of flavor to it. Goes on for days. The finish goes on for days. You get everything from like toffee notes to red. Like I get a little red fruit in there too.
Yeah.
You get the whole shebang in this too. And and I'll get to like what some of my favorites are in the whole lineup and stuff like that. But this one is 40. This is an 80 proof. Really don't need to add water to it, but if you want to add like a drop, you'll still get a flavor change on this. But this is just again, what's the makeup of this? Because there is bourbon cast, there is sherry cast, right? 2 types of sherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one here. So
Yeah.
actually, the same can be said for almost everything on the table. Actually,
Yeah.
everything on the table. There's ex bourbon and a proportion of ex cherry.
Yeah.
Most definitely. A proportion of.
But it's the different proportions that sort of give it the different flavor profiles, though, right?
Absolutely. This one here with Redbreast, in its foundation, it's just a quintessential style of single pot still whiskey, which is
Redbreast 12. I mean,
yeah.
how much can you say? That's like it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The OG bought back in 1991. It was re-released by Brian Nation, obviously coming from the Middleton Distillery, where we make Redbreast, the Spots, Powers, Method and Madness. I noticed you've got
we do
cool bottles up there.
We do.
Some of the coolest whiskey.
They're going to be tasted this weekend too. So
yeah, so good. And what people love to see and experience and taste from Redbreast specifically is that higher proportion of sherry, that rich sherry characteristic, that abundance of sherry. This is very sherry forward style. We've got ex bourbon, which provides vanilla and toffee, a little bit of gentle spice for sure. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you've got your sherry, with all that dried fruits come in, dried fruits, nutty characteristic, and that's all coming from the sherry. And this is more sherry led than anything else. The distillate also offers a beautiful character that is as well quintessentially Irish whiskey, which is the inclusion of unmalted barley as well as malted barley. Everything here is barley. Like in Scotland, with single malts, of course, we have malted barley. Malted barley is king. What the Irish do, or what we do and have been doing ever since we try to avoid paying taxes when the evil British imposed tax on malted barley,
Yeah.
because that's what everyone was using. Everyone was making whiskey. The Irish, they're thrifty, smart, clever, cheeky. They're like, oh, why don't we use a proportion of unmalted barley?
They don't like the king.
And
Yeah, yeah.
avoid a bit of
Yeah.
taxes. The king's, yeah, exactly. And then that actually became the style of Irish whiskey. That creaminess you get when you sip this whiskey as well, that silky kind of creaminess you get in its mouth with your mouthfeel. That is the unmalted barley playing its part. So with the distillate, it's beautiful balance of unmalted and malted barley. You have your ex-bourbon and then your ex-sherry with a focus on a sherry-led style. That is
Simon, you should probably also talk about the distillation method on this, because this is pot still. So
yeah,
I don't know if everybody understands like the difference, what pot still is compared to like, column still and stuff like that, especially as it plays out in the world of Irish, because how many times is it distilled and that type of stuff. So
absolutely. So Irish whiskey, you can always be sure, or with single pot still, which is what we're tasting here across the board. So single pot still, and you have blended whiskey, right? Single pot still is essentially a mix of malted and unmalted barley, aged for a minimum of 3 years on the island of Ireland, and the distilled in a copper pot 3 times. Now, as a rule of thumb, you could look at Irish whiskey as triple distilled. Scottish whiskey is normally twice distilled, and you could look at American whiskey once distilled if you like, but we use a column distillation here, but it's a different.
it's a different terminology that still it equates to many times distilled.
Yeah,
because of the column.
Absolutely, exactly. What you have here with pot still is you get a richer style of whiskey. Now, with the column still, it's definitely a lighter style, though not lighter in an inferior way. Depends on what you like. But column still whiskey or blended whiskey is a mix of pot still whiskey and some grain whiskey, which has been distilled in a column still. This whiskey is lighter, a little bit sweeter style, i.e. Jameson, right? The Jameson is a blended whiskey, and it tastes sweet and light and elegant, and that is what makes it truly, truly delicious.
You know what I find though, even though this is a pot and it's 3 times distilled, it's still 3 times distilled, and I find that it does lend itself also to that sort of, I don't want to say it's lightness as much as like a calm still, but I find that because it is a little bit lighter and there's not as much, it's not as heavy and stuff, it actually lends itself a lot to the barrels that it's aged in. So I think it picks up sherry more. It picks up like, if you've had some Madeira cast Irish whiskey, it picks it up more than I think than a lot of Scots do, because they're a lot of them are a little bit heavier.
Absolutely.
And they do only the double distillation, some more squat, but the 3 times distill sort of brings it out of that sort of thing and lets on barrel character, I think, show through a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that classic kind of smoothness that's associated with Irish whiskey, is that the only reason? No, but definitely plays into
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and it's definitely has a certain, to your point, a certain softness to it, though it's still very rich and
it's still flavorful.
Yeah,
I don't want to take away from that, but that's exactly why it's
unctuous.
flavorful. What do you guys think of just the regular 12? I hate to say regular 12, the flagship 12. Yeah, the regular 12.
The classic 12.
Yeah, it's good.
First bottle of whiskey I ever bought was a Redbreast 12.
Yeah, what's that? Foundation. I like that. I'll use that from now on. I'll forget 3 minutes from now, but that was good. I like that one. All right, so let's pop up to the 15-year-old.
Yeah, we keep on cruising.
Yeah, so 15-year-old Redbreast, really interesting. Still done, I believe it. Is it still done at the 80 proof?
This one's 46.
46.
Yeah.
46. So
Yeah.
92 proof.
92 proof. I've definitely a different style of whiskey. The cool thing I always like to share about this whiskey here. This is when you look at a bottle of whiskey or you look at a range of whiskeys, you see, all right, 12. This is Redbreast 12, wicked. You think, yeah, this whiskey's in here. It's been in the barrel for 12 years. What you think? You look at it maybe. And then you look at this and 15, right? So this whiskey is Redbreast as well. So this is the same whiskey that's aged for a little bit longer. That is 100% not the case. This one here is, we created Redbreast 15 to be a different style of whiskey. And what we were trying to achieve was highlighting the distillate, peeling back the sherry, peeling back the oak character, and letting the distillate shine. Right. So have a little nose, have a little taste. This is we'll hop back to that classic rich sherry forward style when we hit the 12-year-old cask strength.
Yeah.
But and how do we achieve a peeled back expression of the oak to let the distillate shine? We use a second and a third fill of the
So the barrels
that come in.
are ranging almost into neutrality.
Yeah, it's getting
Right?
less and less. Yeah, think of it like a tea bag. When you have a cup of tea, you pop it in the water, and all of that flavor comes out. Great, and then you use the same tea bag for a second cup of tea. You're going to get less flavor from the leaf, and then a third. So when the barrels come into the distillery with sherry, ex bourbon, ex sherry, ex whatever, we'll use them first time. It's called first fill, and then we'll use it a second time as traditional fill, and the third time it's also traditional fill. So second and third times traditional fill, and you're just getting a little less. You're still getting that evolution and that oak character and that maturation and that softening of the whiskey, but you're getting less expression of what was in the barrel before.
People like in the US, we always get confused in that because like, oh, first fill. No, it's actually second.
It is second fill for sure,
because the barrel's already used, right?
Yeah.
And then you're filling it your first time. It'd be, it's already been used for us once, especially if you're using bourbon, right?
Yeah.
Right. Bourbon barrels. So it's the first fill. We look at it. Sometimes people go, well, how would they use a used barrel and it's first time they filled it? I go, no. First time for them to fill it is that first time. And that's, by the way, you're almost getting more of a flavor from the first fill or your second fill, our second fill, because you age something in the barrel. It's a different type of flavor components, right? When we're using it, like say for bourbon, we're going virgin oak charred, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Yep. That's going to get wood character. That's going to get the sugars and stuff like that from the barrel. So you're not going to get as much on your first fill from our used barrels. You're not going to get as much of that part of it. But now you've had bourbon sitting in there, or in some cases, sherry sitting in there for long periods of time. And now you're using it again. So the flavor components you're going to get are not the same flavor components that came out that first time. It's actually a little bit more complex because it had something else that was in there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're getting a load of things are going to happen, of course, when it's in the barrel maturing for using a proportion of second and third fill. When you're peeling back those characters and those flavors that were in the barrel before, what we have here with this one is when we say letting the distillate shine, having a distillate-led style. Right. When you have a sip, think about what you're smelling, what you're tasting. I always try to picture like what components of the whiskey are coming from the distillate, what are coming from the bourbon,
the barrel, right?
The sherry. This one I get sometimes like a banana bread, almost like
I almost get a little like lemon cake, and it's in the middle of my tongue.
Cake, yeah,
and it finishes right in the middle of your tongue too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that citrusy sort of.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really a great expression of what the distillate of.
By the way, that's what I'm getting. That doesn't mean what you're getting.
Is anyone getting anything? Anyone tasting any biscuits? Any certain fruits?
There's no pineapple in this one. Everybody knows that joke.
No, not a lot of pineapple. Maybe if you look really hard, you might find something.
No, that's our sort of thing. I don't use a lot of descriptors for people because it's personal.
Yeah,
I'm tasting that. Somebody else might not taste that. And we've done a couple of little experiments where we tell people that there's a taste that is not present. And see how many people will go with it. And it's like, please do never listen to an idiot like me tell you what you're tasting. It's just silly, right? I'm not inside your mouth, nor do I want to be. Well, I don't know. Some of you may be. I don't know. But anyways, But you don't want to, like, again, it's a very personal thing,
Yeah,
like what you're
totally. Yeah.
tasting. And it's like where it's equating what you're tasting, what you're thinking in your head too. It's always connected somehow, right?
Yeah, of
So,
course. And the power of suggestion as well. If you
yes. If I
say
tell you
to
start
somebody,
tasting, you'll start
I'll start
tasting.
tasting it for sure.
That's why you don't listen to idiots like me. But what I try to
Guilty.
tell people when they're looking at Jameson, they go like, "Oh, I like the 12. I want to get something better." And they go, "I'll buy the 15." I go, "Okay, it's older. I'll give you that, but that's not a direct line. The 3, it just isn't that. It isn't the 12 plus 3 years. It's a different expression."
Yeah, that's a common misconception. Like, there's so many misconceptions around whiskey, which is so interesting and like interesting to learn about. But yeah, more often than not, every whiskey maker looks to achieve a specific style of whiskey, and it just so happens that the number or the age statement that's on it will be the youngest whiskey in the mix, of course. But it's
It doesn't have to go.
oftentimes
It
somewhat
doesn't have to go
misleading.
linear. That's what everybody
Yeah,
thinks.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
linear.
yeah.
If I could just climb up the ladder, it's the same thing again, 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 but older and older and older, and that's not the case.
That's not the case almost
The
all of the
one
time.
that's more, that if you want to get more similar to the 12, you drink what we're going to drink next,
Yeah, the
which
one
is
this is
which is the
yeah,
cast strength,
yeah,
which is one of my favorites.
super popular and yeah, super popular. Obviously,
I'm a
here in
populist. I
America as
like that.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the number 3 is the cast strength, and I'm going to ask you a little bit about this too, because this is 58.1 or 116.2. Yes, I did the math in my head. But the real thing about this is I want to know why. It used to be cast strength and it'd
Yeah.
be 12 cast strength, right? It's still 12, but all of a sudden it's just a written word
Yeah.
underneath the main title.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we
See, now I got you here. I'm gonna
yeah,
ask why.
absolutely.
Because I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, but it's not 12 anymore. I go, yeah, it is. It says it right there. Age 12 years. It is 12. And they're like, are they trying to get rid of it? Are they going to take the 12 off? I go, maybe they may, but right now it still says 12. So go with it.
I think that there is definitely a trend with whiskey makers starting to move towards non-age statement whiskies and removing them because of how misleading age statements can be, and also highlighting essentially what the whiskey is, which is really everything everything you want to share with the consumer, the buyer, the one who's got the whiskey in their hand, is going to perhaps crack it, buy it, taste it, whatever. This one was released in 2011. This was for the US as well, and created for those the whiskey drinkers who really enjoy slightly higher proof whiskey and want to get a chance to enjoy Redbreast at that higher proof.
But I will tell you now, I know it's at a higher proof. It's phenomenal. I love it. I am a big fan of it, but just because they gave it to you at a higher proof doesn't necessarily mean you should drink it that way.
Yeah,
because I find if you bring this down a little bit, there's a lot more flavor involved with this whiskey than you're not getting at that higher ABV. So again, think of this as sort of whiskey concentrate. All right, you can get a little bit more out of this because I mean, it's 116. You don't have to drink it at that. You don't have to drink it at that ABV.
no,
Most of mine that are at this sort of range or come in at this high, I usually end up drinking between, I don't know, 100, 110 is usually a nice point. But if you add just a couple of drops of water to this, or you can use the Randall Bird method, is drink some water, get basically your mouth wet,
yeah,
and then drink some whiskey, and then you don't dilute it. Yeah. Randall Bird's in the audience tonight. I think he's still here. I missed Randall Bird. That's the Randall Bird method, which is a great method. I love it.
I found out about that recently. Was it last
It
year?
was here
It
last
must
time.
be.
Yeah, yeah.
Genius.
Yeah,
Absolute
genius.
genius.
He is a
Yeah.
genius, but don't tell him that. It just goes right to
We'll
his
keep
head.
it quiet.
Was that?
58.1.
Yeah.
58.1 for this year. So every
Yeah, you have to
with
check
every
because it
release,
changes.
yeah, it'll change, and then you'll also be able to see on each bottle there's a little round stamp. So for any of the releases that have fluctuations year to year, you can check the little stamp, and it'll give you the ABV. It'll also tell you the batch number. Yeah, it will. Batch
You
22.
can't read it, can you? Let me see it. I got my glasses on. So
Yeah.
let's see if I can read it. I probably can't read it. No, it's batch B122.
B122.
So that'd
Yeah.
be what? It's 2022.
Yeah, and batch
B1,
one.
batch
Yeah.
1. All right.
Yeah, it normally hovers around 50.
See, they do that. So if you
58.1
find one you
or
really
50.
like, you're supposed to buy all that batch.
You gotta get the whole batch.
What is
in.
where's Matt's not here tonight? Matt usually tells you one is none. If you only own one bottle, you really don't own one. You gotta keep going. You gotta get one for the, you gotta have a backup. If you like something, I'll pull it in there.
Yeah, it's always rough when you get down to the last one of your favorites.
That's right.
Yeah, hard time.
What do you guys think of this? I love this
Yeah.
whiskey. I mean, there's so many great flavors going on in this thing, and the depth of flavor that's going on, and you add water, and there's a whole bunch of new stuff to explore in this one.
Yeah.
This is a thinking person's whiskey.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on in there, especially on some people go, well, I don't like Irish because they're this or that. And I go, yeah, there's some ones that have some really big depth in them. And this is one of those
Oh,
whiskeys.
yeah, absolutely. So I put a couple of drops of water from my finger, and then so at first I don't know what he was getting. It was like mad fresh and kind of citrusy.
Yeah.
A couple of drops of water, turned a little corner there. Now
Red fruit and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Dark fruit. Yeah.
It evolves. It's such a fun thing to do. But then obviously some people love to drink like what's it called, the proof hounds. Loving the proof.
Proof hounds.
Yeah, which is cool.
We have any of those in the room?
Proof
hounds.
Any proof hounds? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The only problem is, remember, proof hounds is if you drink your second glass, because I like to have more than one. You drink second glass, you've anesthetized your mouth. Anything when you start preaching 120 or over, you start.
It does.
It
Okay.
does start
Yeah. But it's also about like I had a great chat with this guy Andreas. He's a legend from Cyprus. He opened up one of the world's 50 best bars, Lost and Found, and he knows a lot about booze and a lot about just drinks, really, and spirits. And we were chatting about high proof whiskey and or just high proof anything, and he took me through this this understanding of proof is a carrier of flavor, right? So in the same way that fats are a carrier of flavor, and water is a carrier of flavor. So I like actually 40% whiskeys. I like to drink a lot of tea. I enjoy tasting through that medium. Obviously, I enjoy all mediums in some ways, but everyone favors different ones. So if you love tasting high proof booze, and you actually that's how you like to taste your flavor, your whiskey or whatever, and that's the medium through what you enjoy carrying your flavor. So when to someone who doesn't like high proof whiskey, like you can't be tasting nothing. No, yeah, they're tasting everything, they're enjoying the shit out of it, and then
until they get to the point.
Until yeah, and then it's downhill from there.
Then we call them those people a time traveler because they lose a couple days.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I mean, the people because that's the flavor that they're craving, that they're tasting it. But you are losing some of the other flavors that are there. It just depends on how you do it.
I definitely feel like I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this one's, I mean, it's awful hard to beat this whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, let's try. We get another whiskey, so let's try. Let's see if we can. All right. So the next one we got is the Lustau.
Yeah. This one's a banger in its own right as well. Also,
the nose. I love the nose on this one, by the way.
46%.
Yes.
Yeah. full sherry. I mean, this is what the 12 is, and then some with regards to sherry. Finished.
Are they
in-
using they're obviously losing loose style, but they're using a higher percentage of sherry barrels, right?
the high proportion of sherry barrels, yes, indeed, and finishing in a first fill Oloroso sherry
Okay,
barrel
all right.
from Lustau specifically, who provide and furnish us and the rest of the world with some of the finest sherry barrels that you can procure as a whiskey finisher.
Who likes sherry flavored? Who likes sherry finished whiskeys? Okay. How many bottles of sherry did you drink this year? 1, 2, none. Drink more sherry. You got to drink. No, Diane, you can't shirk your duty on this. It's very, very important. You need to drink more sherry because we need sherry because we like the other stuff that sherry goes in. And by the way, sherry's really cool to drink on its own too. It's a lot of fun. It's delicious.
I have a bottle in the fridge at all times.
There you go.
Cook with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, any type of sherry, by the way. I'm not going to be, like you have to drink, well, Oloroso, or you got to drink Pedro Jimenez. And we probably should do
Good
a
point.
sherry tasting, Charlie. You're absolutely right. I found a volunteer that's going to lead us in a sherry tasting. His name is Charlie.
It sounds legit. It sounds legit to me.
That's Old Man Whiskey for those who don't know.
Okay.
That's, yeah. Oh no, did you change your name to Non-Age Statement Whiskey? Oh, okay, Non-Age. Sorry, all right. You got me confused now, Charlie. All right, you win.
Legendary.
He's
Let me know. I'm going to fly in for that.
Yeah, we should definitely do
Yeah.
a sherry tasting. Yes.
Oh yeah,
We've done that.
yeah,
We've actually done the sherry and the whiskey that was finished with that sherry barrel. We've done that. But I think we need to do a sherry barrel just to make you heathens drink more sherry. It's fair. I'm watching. Does anybody watch? My wife got me onto the show. It's Creatures Large and Small. It's about Great and Small. Okay, all right, calm down. I didn't mean to insult anybody. It's about veterinarians living in this small, like rural village, and it's very interesting. And there's no, it's very British because there's really no antagonist. There's no like evil going on. It's just a really nice sort of rural setting, and they have the problems. They gotta, this guy's got his hand up this much into the cow and
Nice.
every show, and but I will tell you, they all come back at the end of the day and they drink a sherry. And I'm like,
legends.
we need to do more of that. I told my wife, we need to do more of that. Without the cow stuff.
Yeah, with the cow.
Yeah, I don't want to like without my arm all the way up a cow's, you know what. So we can do that and the sherry, that'd be perfect for
That'd be
me.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's this one here as well is 9. You can look. So this is a non-age statement. This was the first release
Okay.
of the Iberian series as well, which was only supposed to be a limited edition, and it proved so popular and it's obviously so delish that we kept it. And you can look at it as a 9 to 12. It's a blend of whiskeys, barrels that are aged 9 to 12.
I love that there's a distinct note at the finish of this. It's like I always like equate it to like a white mushroom, but there's just this like very distinct finish at the end when you taste it that I crave that flavor. It's really good. I love that flavor. So
Beautiful. So yeah, there's just
Yeah.
a little salinity.
it's
as
a little
well there.
salinity, but there's that other like
Umami,
unami.
Yeah.
Yeah, umami. It's almost mushroomy to me, like a white mushroom.
Yeah, vegetal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The earthy.
You guys get that at all? No, I was lying. There's nothing. No, there really
got-
is. There really is. No, I'm
Nah,
just teasing. There really is.
There's
Who likes this one? This is just lovely. I mean, it's just your favorite of the whole night. Well, we
Yeah.
haven't got through all of them yet, sir. So wait,
we-
hold on. Wait, there's more.
this.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, a little
truffle.
truffle. I can see with that truffle.
Yeah.
You know what I like about I don't like about truffles is everybody decides that if a little truffle was great, a lot would be better.
Yeah. And then go to
And
town.
it goes like, wait a minute, now I'm eating dirt. No, just a little truffle. Like my kids go, they love truffle, and they go, Dad, you're crazy. I go, there's too much truffle. I think I'm sensitive to it. Like something like cilantro.
I mean, it's big.
It's
It's a
like, but when
big-
somebody
it's
overuses,
large.
like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you gotta be
Enough
careful.
of my Epicurean delights there. Oh.
Oh, woof. Yeah, we got the banger.
So tonight, I hope you all really enjoy the fact that you got tonight. You have actually the Redbreast single pot stilled Irish whiskey, small batch cast strength. This was hand selected by master blender Billy Lighton, and this is bottled for us at Julio's. And what we did when these came out, there was 4 batches, A, B, C, and D. And I was very fortunate. I got to pick first, and I picked A, which is this one. I really liked this one, but I also really liked D. So I said, "Will you tell me where is he? Where did he take off? Mike, where are you? Michael,
Michael's in the house.
Michael's still in the house? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, Michael, can you tell me who picks D? And it was Redstone. It was Kamal at Redstone. And I go, great. Kamal, you want to split barrels? And we split. All right. So the one that I picked was Julio's Redstone, and the one that he picked was Redstone Julio's, and we had both in the house, which was great. I would have liked to have done that with everybody, and we've
Yeah.
done it 4 ways, but yeah, egos are egos. I
Who got
guess.
the others?
I think it was Cappy's and Gordon's, right? Cappy's and Gordon's, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but we had people running around trying to find them all.
Yeah, of
It was like
course.
Pokemon, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and got to get them all. And so at least here and at Redstone, you could stop and get 2 out of the 4. So yeah, you were halfway there. How much is this bottle? It's priceless, sir. My precious. There's very little left of these. I've been told by several people emphatically, we will never do that again. So this might have been the only. I had people from, I had like people from Ireland threatening me to send them bottles of this.
Nah.
Yeah, I got a cousin who lives in Southeast coming to get one. He wants 10. You'll give it to him. I go, no, I'm not giving anybody 10 bottles. They're like, you'll give him 10. I'm like, no, I don't care if he's from Southie. No. Anyways, this is so this was batch A. So basically they had the 4 batches out there. The West Coast had the same thing, but they were 4 different batches. But they were still A, B, C, and D. Am I right on that? I believe I'm right on that. If I'm wrong, trust me, the internet will correct me. But this is ours. So
What's the proof?
it's 58.6, so 117.2. Unique among whiskey. Blah, 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 blah. I was just seeing if there's pot still whiskey have been triple distilled and matured for no less than 14 years, and a combination of bourbon and cherry casks. So, no, I do not. I have, yes, this one right here. So, thank you, Johnny. This one had a this one out of the 4, if I can try to remember as best I can. This one out of the 4 was probably the heaviest sherry influenced of the 4 of them. This finish on this thing goes on for like days.
Incredible.
Right? You would never know it was that high a proof though. Right? It's got an intense flavor. It's got a long finish to it. When we were trying this, we could not pick A. It was just it was so delicious. And there you go. What do you guys think? Yeah, yes, no, maybe. If you don't like it, just bring the what you get left in your cup up here, and we'll finish it for you. I don't have any left in my cup, Ryan. Oh, did I mention to save some for later? I got something to. Sir, save some for later. No, I'm just teasing. Drink away. Have fun.
This was a couple of years ago, was it?
Oh, it was at least a couple of years ago. Is it that? No, it is not that long. It can't be that long.
No, we got to be.
I can't be that old yet. Let me see what it is.
Got to be 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, I would say. I don't know if it says. Does it say?
I believe it would have been 4.
It would have been 4, right?
I
Yeah, it could be more than. It couldn't be more than 5.
But
Yeah, I know. I know. I forget we. I mean, COVID was like 11 years, wasn't it? all wrapped up in 1 year, right?
Good point. Maybe 5-ish.
Did anybody else get that time warp? Like it was like, oh, it's just a year. It was like, no, it was like 11. Swear to God. All right. But that's great. I love that one. I know. I love this one because I picked it.
Yeah,
What else am I going to say?
that's it.
What do you guys say? You like it? Good. All right. Now, can you buy the rest of it of this? No, it's going home with me at this point. I probably have to fight Simon for it anyways later on. All right. The next one we have is the 21. Now,
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. I can't remember the last time I've had the 21. It's been in and out of circulation.
In a minute. I can't remember the last time I had the 21 because since the 27 came along.
Have been drunk getting 21? Wow, what a problem to have. Simon. It's great. Oh, I can't have the 20. The 21 is like so passe. That's for the peasants.
The funny thing is, this is arguably one of the not even arguably actually. It's goes down in history as one of the greatest whiskeys of all time. It's official. It was 2013. It was released. It had it was a whiskey of the year 2013.
Yeah, it was.
Well. Yeah, it was. Yeah, whiskey of the year. It came in hot and actually hasn't really stopped.
The nose on that is almost like a peach or a nectarine.
Peach
nectarine, right?
You get some mad stone fruit. I get mad pineapples, like toffee caramel coated pineapples.
Dude, I like some toffee caramel and pine. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Just and
nose on it's really neat.
Yeah.
Doesn't taste that bad either. We'll give it the New England seal of approval. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't. Yeah, well, that's replacing it. That doesn't suck. It's a new one that we've been replacing with, but that ain't bad because only in New England would use a negative as a positive enforcement. So
this is actually high sherry proportion, of course.
What's the ABV on this one?
This one is 46.
46.
Yeah, 46. 21 years minimum of the whiskeys in here. It's sherry at a very high proportion of the whiskey, but to avoid it over oaking, part of the whiskey spends 10 years in bourbon first before it's transferred into sherry, just to temper the sherry, but still.
You don't want to become like a one note.
Yeah,
it would only you would only taste certain things, right?
And that's the special thing that we do with this one here. And I mean, it kind of. What do you guys think? Is it one of the most solid whiskeys? Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's naughty is the technical term for this one. Proper naughty.
You can't be proper naughty.
It's proper.
All right, there's naughty, and there's proper. Proper naughty. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And you have to.
What do you guys think? How's that? That one is, sir. We do have that one for sale, so I'll talk to you about that later.
So rich, full, and
you know what? You know what's deceptive about this one too, though. I will tell you. I know none of you can do this, but I can. If you look at all the whiskeys that you tried tonight, you almost like I could look at the 27 and I see the darkness of the 27, right? But if you look at the 21, it's not really. It's pretty consistent with the color of almost everything else. You know, and you're thinking, oh, it's 21. It should be darker, right? Especially with like a heavier sherry component that you're tasting.
Yeah.
But it's not. This is why a lot of times you should not taste with your eyes. Okay, because I would go like, oh, there's no way there's that big of a sherry component to this looking at it.
Yeah.
But there is.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
And having it tempered with the spending 10 year in bourbon first, that definitely softens it in all ways across the board.
This one good? You guys like this one? All right. Well, they like it. And Mikey likes it. All right.
Yeah. Onto another.
Well,
Yeah.
now we're in the big boy park. 27-year-old
Yeah.
Redbreast.
It's an outrage. It's an absolute outrage.
It's an outrage. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's when this is where also there's a certain corner that the flavor compounds in the barrel
Yeah.
turn and just reach into kind of, I guess, tropical territory. The first when the 27 first came out, it was a COVID Christmas actually, and I got my hands on the first taste that I managed to get from the bottle from the of a bottle of this, and I did a blind tasting. I poured some vials, a couple of ounces, and sent it to my whole team, all whiskey ambassadors, all been working on Redbreast as well. All of us have, and I was actually the newcomer to the team, so I was like, send them a 27 and ask them if they can guess, see what it is. The first time that I ever tried it, it was amazing. I was actually the last to try it on my team as well. Anyway, fast forward, everyone got their vials. Didn't hear too much, but then I was on my phone with Daniela Solano, who works for Maker's Mark now. She's
She's a taster,
a
isn't she?
diplomat.
Oh, she a diplomat? I thought she was a taster.
And then we're on the phone, and I was like, "Oh, did you get my sample? Did you have a guess at what it is?" And she was like, "Oh no, let me get it. I'll get it right now, and we'll work it out." So she put it in a glass, and then she gives it a smell, and she's like, "Right." Yeah. She's getting that malted barley, unmalted barley. She's like, "Right, yeah, we're in Ireland for sure." I was like, "Yeah, correct, yeah." And then she was looking at the color. She's like, "All right, it's cool. It must be what happens." She has a little taste, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, it's Redbreast," and then she goes, "Is it Dream Cask?" And I was like, "No, it's not." And then she tasted mango, and it's so specific. As soon as you get that mango note, you're like, "Cool, Redbreast 27. That is this whiskey all day." But
I get something different than that
but
at the end.
oh yeah, I mean, obviously
No,
you
no,
get
I get
whatever
something
you
different
get.
at the end,
No,
and
yeah.
I want to see if anybody else sort of gets it. Did you guys like this? I don't want to influence anybody on this, but did you guys like this one? I think it's awesome. I think it's just like there is a tropical tone in that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you remember the Lifesaver, the white one that was like pineapple something? It was like tropical pineapple, right? But it wasn't really pineapple. It was different. It was almost pineapple coconut. It had this different, right? Pina colada. It was like the pina colada one. Do you guys get that at the very end of this?
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's mango to me has a little bit more of a peachiness to it, like a peach flavor
Yeah,
to
there
it.
is peach in it.
Like a mango has that more of that. This one has more of that pineapple coconut. It's not heavily coconut. It's that Lifesaver taste. It's not coconut. I mean, that Lifesaver taste is really not pina colada. But it's like this one. It's its own flavor, really. But it's somewhere in between that. You guys, I don't know. That's what I get on this.
Yeah, there's all that happening. It's super complex whiskey here. The 20, yeah, madness.
I'll have to take home the bottle and just keep drinking until I
Just
get it
keep
right.
drinking.
Yeah, just until I get it right.
There's a bit of rummy flavor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a mad one. 27 years, obviously, and then finished in port. Yeah, I mean, you get all that red fruit as well from there. The
Really
port
beautiful.
pipes as well. These port barrels. You always know they're port when they're really huge, 540-liter barrels. Whenever you see, even in American distilleries, if you see these huge port pipes, they're called. They're 540-liter, massive. and yeah, obviously finishes in port. And it is a proportion of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry, just like everything
Yeah,
that's on the table.
great stuff.
Oh,
Everything is put back,
everything goes in. Yeah,
goes into the port.
yeah.
Like they
And
mixed it together and they put it into the port for like a finish of finishes.
yeah, precisely.
Right.
Yeah, a marriage. It's
Marriage made in heaven.
Marriage made in heaven. Yeah, indeed.
So, all right. Well, you know what? That's it.
So, folks.
Are you kidding me right now? I get like a mutiny going on all of a sudden. Listen, just because we started saying rum and stuff like that, you all didn't turn into pirates. So,
yeah, 46%.
thank you. Thank
So,
you.
yeah,
Yeah, 46% on that one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Yeah. I mean, this is definitely, of all tastings that I always ever do, this is sincerely one of the most ridiculous lineups. Yeah.
We should thank Mike in the Michael in the back. Michael Gary in the back.
Mikey G.
Mike, take a bow. Take a bow.
Yeah, it's
he made all this possible. I probably cost him his job, but thank you. We enjoyed the whiskey.
At least a few quid.
All right. I want to say bye to everybody on Facebook. You can always go back and watch this on Julio's Liquor's Facebook page. You can also go to It's the Liquor Talking wherever you get your podcasts. Cousin Vinny will have this up. You can go there and watch it there. Spotify or wherever you go. You guys don't leave. I have some stuff to go over with you. You're going to want to hear this. But we'll say bye to everybody. Please behave yourselves, everybody. So there we go. They're gone. We're going to stop the recording of this.
Launcher.
And